As one year fades into memory and another rises on the horizon, we find ourselves entangled in ambitious resolutions, long lists of habits to cultivate, and promises to become a newer, better version of ourselves. We set our sights on change, determined to fill our lives with more goals, more achievements, more discipline. But those who truly understand transformation know that it isn't just about what we add, but what we release. True change begins with letting go. This idea is nothing new. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca once observed that difficulty does not exist because we lack the courage to face it. Rather, we struggle because we perceive it as difficult. It is the invisible walls we build within our minds, the barriers we refuse to confront, that hold us back from stepping into the best version of ourselves. Stoicism is not merely about constructing a good life. It is about liberating ourselves from the chains of mental, emotional, and habitual burdens. To live with purpose, with virtue, and with clarity, we must have the courage to let go of what no longer serves us. Tonight, we embark on a journey together, a journey of release, of shedding the unnecessary, of stepping into 2025 with clarity, resilience, and a renewed sense of self. And to mark this commitment, take a moment to declare your intention in the comments below. In 2025, I embrace my best self. Let this be the first step in a year of deep and lasting transformation. Comfort is a sweet, intoxicating illusion. It wraps around us like a warm embrace, lulling us into the belief that ease is synonymous with happiness. But comfort, when indulged in excess, is the silent enemy of growth. It whispers that safety is preferable to challenge, that staying in familiar surroundings is wiser than stepping into the unknown. The Stoics knew otherwise. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest thinkers of Stoic philosophy, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Strength does not emerge in comfort. It is forged in discomfort. Think about the last time you avoided a challenge because it seemed too hard, too unfamiliar. Perhaps it was the reluctance to start a new skill, the hesitation to speak up in a meeting, or the avoidance of a difficult conversation. The momentary relief of staying within your comfort zone was fleeting, wasn't it? Over time, stagnation seeps in, leaving you feeling restless, unfulfilled, and disconnected from your own potential. Picture a weekend spent lounging on the couch, binge-watching television, wrapped in a blanket with snacks at arm's reach. There's nothing inherently wrong with rest. It is necessary. But when rest turns into avoidance, when relaxation becomes an escape, it becomes a prison of its own making. The mind, deprived of challenge, grows dull. The body, absent of movement, weakens. The spirit, untouched by new experiences, fades into the background. Consider the story of a person afraid of water. The thought of stepping into a pool fills them with dread. The uncertainty of depth, the unfamiliarity of floating, the fear of sinking. They stand at the edge, toes curled over the ledge, hesitant. But the moment they take that first step into the water, something shifts. It's uncomfortable, it's cold, it's overwhelming, but it's also a beginning. With time, with persistence, they learn to trust their body, to embrace the resistance, and to move through the water with ease. What once seemed terrifying becomes second nature. Growth is much the same. The discomfort of learning, of trying, of failing, is the price we pay for progress. The Stoics did not seek hardship for the sake of suffering, but rather they embraced it as a necessary teacher. Adversity is not the enemy. It is the forge that strengthens our character. So as we step into 2025, ask yourself, where have I chosen comfort over growth? What fears have kept me from stepping into my full potential? The path to your best self begins when you release the illusion that ease equals fulfillment. Complaining is an effortless habit to fall into, one that disguises itself as harmless, yet erodes our resilience from the inside out. Every sigh of frustration, every whispered grievance, every moment spent dwelling on what is unfair or inconvenient drains our energy and locks us in a cycle of dissatisfaction. To complain is to surrender power. Instead of addressing problems, we dwell in them. Instead of seeking solutions, we amplify negativity. Take, for example, the story of Helen Keller. Stripped of sight and sound at an early age, she faced a world that could have rendered her powerless. She had every reason to complain, to sink into despair, to curse the unfairness of her situation. But she did not. Instead, she chose a path of learning, of resilience, of strength. With the help of her teacher, Anne Sullivan, she transformed her obstacles into stepping stones. Her words continue to inspire. Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. Complaining robs us of the ability to see opportunities where challenges exist. It blinds us to the power we hold over our own lives. The next time you catch yourself about to complain, pause. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, how can I change it? If it is not, why am I giving it my energy? Complaining thrives alongside another destructive habit, one that slowly poisons our relationships, our perceptions, and our peace of mind. It is the habit of judgment. We are quick to judge, quick to label, quick to categorize people, experiences, and situations as good or bad, right or wrong, worthy or unworthy. We believe this habit gives us control over our world, but in truth, it only tightens the chains around our minds. Marcus Aurelius offered a profound reminder. You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. Imagine driving through traffic on a busy morning. You're running late, horns are blaring, and the frustration builds. Thoughts arise unbidden. Why can't people drive properly? Why is this city such a mess? Judgment fuels anger, and anger fuels stress. But what if instead you simply observed, noted the noise, the pace, the reality of the moment, without the need to label it as good or bad? Suddenly the weight of frustration lifts. The world has not changed, but your experience of it has. Judgment is an invisible prison, one that keeps us tethered to negativity, to unrealistic expectations, to constant discontent. The Stoics teach us that true peace is found not in controlling the world, but in controlling our perception of it. By releasing the need to judge, we open the door to understanding, patience, and a clearer, calmer mind. As you move forward into 2025, challenge yourself. How often do I rush to judge? How much lighter would my mind feel if I simply observed, accepted, and let go? The year ahead holds immense potential, but only if we are willing to release what holds us back. Comfort, complaining, judgment, these are the weights that keep us from rising. The moment we choose to let them go, we begin to transform. One of the most deceptive traps the human mind falls into is the illusion of already knowing everything. It is subtle, quiet, and deeply ingrained in the ego. The moment we believe we have nothing left to learn, we begin to stagnate. The walls of certainty close in around us, shutting out curiosity, growth, and the possibility of seeing the world through new perspectives. Stoic philosophy warns against this false confidence. At its heart lies the principle of intellectual humility, the recognition that no matter how much we know, there is always more to discover. True wisdom does not come from having all the answers, but from constantly seeking them. Imagine an expert in their field, someone with years of experience, accolades, and recognition. They attend a seminar where a fresh perspective is presented, one that challenges their long-held beliefs. Instead of listening with an open mind, they dismiss it. "I've heard this before," they think. "There's nothing new to learn." And just like that, an opportunity for growth is lost. This illusion is particularly dangerous because it feeds on success. The more we achieve, the more we believe we are beyond learning. Yet history is filled with the stories of those who remained students, no matter how accomplished they became. Take Charles Darwin, for example. A man whose work revolutionized science, yet he never stopped questioning, refining, and challenging his own theories. He famously said, "Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge." Even in his brilliance, he remained humble. It was this humility that allowed his ideas to evolve, leading to some of the most profound discoveries in human history. When we embrace a beginner's mindset, we open ourselves up to new perspectives, to deeper understanding, and to a lifetime of learning. It is the childlike curiosity, the willingness to ask, to listen, to explore, that keeps us growing. The moment we say, "I already know," we close the door to possibility. So ask yourself, where in my life have I assumed I know everything? What would change if I approached each day, each conversation, each experience as a student rather than an expert? In 2025, let go of the illusion of knowing it all and rediscover the power of learning. Now, picture a moment where you were overwhelmed by emotion. Perhaps an argument spiraled out of control. Words were spoken in anger that couldn't be taken back. Or maybe it was a fleeting temptation, a purchase you didn't need, an evening wasted scrolling through distractions, a goal abandoned for short-term pleasure. These moments seem harmless, but over time they become patterns, and patterns shape lives. A lack of self-control is not just about giving in to small temptations, it is about surrendering power over yourself. The Stoics believed that true freedom does not come from doing whatever we desire, but from mastering those desires. To be ruled by impulse is to be enslaved by it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Self-control is not about suppression, it is about direction. It is the difference between reacting and responding, between being led by emotion and leading with wisdom. Consider the story of James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. As a young man, he suffered a severe head injury that shattered his plans and ambitions. He could have given in to frustration, to despair. Instead, he made a decision to focus on small, deliberate actions. He built habits, practiced discipline, and embraced consistency. His journey was not defined by immediate transformation, but by small efforts repeated daily. Years later, his disciplined approach turned into extraordinary success. This is the essence of self-control, not grand gestures, but quiet mastery over one's own mind and actions. It is choosing patience over frustration, discipline over distraction, progress over impulse. Ask yourself, how often do I allow emotions to dictate my actions? Where in my life have I surrendered control to fleeting desires? In 2025, reclaim your power, master your impulses, and in doing so, master your life. Mediocrity does not announce itself with fanfare. It creeps in, unnoticed, in the small decisions we make every day, the moments when we settle, when we give less than our best, when we accept good enough instead of striving for excellence. It is the quiet acceptance of less than we are capable of. Every time we choose the easy route, we reinforce a habit of effortlessness, of complacency, of living below our potential. Imagine being part of a project at work. The deadline looms, and you have two choices: contribute your best ideas, push beyond expectations, and create something truly remarkable, or do just enough to get by, enough to avoid criticism, but not enough to stand out. One path leads to growth, pride, and fulfillment. The other leads to stagnation. The Stoics believed that excellence is not about perfection, but about commitment. It is about showing up fully in everything we do, our work, our relationships, our personal endeavors. How you do anything is how you do everything. Excellence is not a momentary act. It is a way of being. It is found in the small details, in the effort put into even the most ordinary tasks. It is the extra moment taken to refine, to improve, to elevate. It is the difference between living passively and living with purpose. Ask yourself, where in my life have I accepted mediocrity? What would happen if I approached every task, no matter how small, with my full effort? Let 2025 be the year you refuse to settle. Choose excellence, not for recognition, but for the pride of knowing you gave your all. Creativity is a powerful force. It shapes ideas, drives innovation, and fuels progress. But left unchecked, it can also become a force of destruction. Negative creativity manifests in overthinking, excessive worry, and the habit of imagining worst-case scenarios. It turns obstacles into excuses, possibilities into fears, and challenges into reasons to quit. Consider a businessman struggling to grow his company. Instead of focusing on how to improve, he spends hours justifying why customers aren't returning. He blames the market, his competitors, external factors beyond his control. His energy is spent crafting explanations rather than solutions, and so nothing changes. The Stoics teach us that our thoughts shape our reality. If we pour our energy into fear, into doubt, into negativity, we create a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if we direct that same creative force toward solutions, toward resilience, toward progress, we unlock boundless potential. Ask yourself, where in my life has negative creativity held me back? How often do I use my energy to justify failure rather than find solutions? In 2025, shift your focus. Direct your mind toward progress, and you will be unstoppable. Picture yourself walking through life carrying a heavy backpack. Inside, you've packed every mistake you've ever made, every regret, every disappointment, and every grudge you've held against others. With each passing year, the weight increases, yet you continue forward, struggling under the burden. And yet, no one is forcing you to carry it. You are the one choosing to keep it strapped to your back. Emotional baggage is not just a metaphor, it is a reality that many live with every single day. It drains energy, clouds judgment, and keeps the past alive, even when it no longer serves us. The Stoics understood that true freedom does not come from avoiding hardship, but from learning how to let go of the things we cannot change. Take the story of Sarah, a woman who once owned a thriving business with a trusted partner. But as disagreements grew, that partnership dissolved in a painful, bitter ending. Years passed, yet Sarah remained trapped in the past, replaying every betrayal, every moment of anger. She held on to resentment like a shield, believing that letting go would mean admitting defeat. But in truth, the only person she was hurting was herself. One day she stumbled upon the wisdom of Stoicism. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" she began asking, "What can I learn from this?" Slowly she realized that her experiences had given her something valuable: wisdom, resilience, and a deeper understanding of people. She decided to let go, not for the sake of her past partner, but for her own peace. The moment we shift our perspective, we reclaim our power. Emotional baggage does not disappear on its own. It must be released. Forgiveness is not about excusing someone's actions. It is about freeing yourself from the weight of carrying them in your mind. Ask yourself, what grudges am I holding on to? What past mistakes do I refuse to forgive myself for? The past cannot be rewritten, but it can be reinterpreted, and in doing so, you create space for something new. In 2025, let go of the weight that no longer serves you. Step forward, unburdened, into the life that awaits. The shift from goals to process. We are often told that success lies in setting goals. Goals for health, for career, for relationships. We envision a future version of ourselves, stronger, wealthier, happier, and we chase that image relentlessly. But have you ever noticed that even after achieving a goal, the satisfaction is fleeting? The mind quickly moves to the next milestone, always asking, what's next? Stoicism teaches us that fulfillment is not found in the destination, but in the journey. Epictetus reminds us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things beyond our control. And what is more out of our control than the final outcome of our ambitions? Imagine an athlete training for the Olympics. They push their body to its limits, waking up before dawn, sacrificing leisure for discipline, enduring pain for progress. If their sole focus is the medal, what happens if they don't win? Or even if they do, what comes after? Many champions find themselves feeling empty after reaching their peak, because their identity was tied only to the outcome. Now, imagine the same athlete, but with a different mindset. Instead of obsessing over the medal, they focus on the training itself, the discipline, the perseverance, the growth. Each day becomes a victory, each challenge a stepping stone. Whether or not they win the gold, they are already successful, because success was never about the result. It was about the process. Consider Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian in history. After reaching his dream, he found himself battling depression, lost without the chase. It wasn't until he redefined success, not as medals, but as self-mastery, that he found peace. So ask yourself, am I measuring my life by results or by who I am becoming? If you focus only on outcomes, you will always feel like something is missing. But if you fall in love with the process, you will find fulfillment in every step. In 2025, shift your mindset. Embrace the journey and let that be enough. In a world of constant notifications, emails and demands for our attention, we have become prisoners of urgency. Every buzz of the phone, every unread message, every request from others pulls us away from the things that truly matter. The result? A life spent in reaction mode, always responding to the immediate, yet never making progress on what is truly important. Picture James, a young professional with a list of goals, writing a book, launching a business, strengthening his relationships. Each morning, he plans his day with good intentions. But as soon as he checks his phone, everything unravels. A flood of emails, unexpected requests, urgent tasks from colleagues. By the end of the day, he is exhausted, yet none of his meaningful work has been touched. Does this sound familiar? Stoic wisdom teaches us that we must take control of our attention. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is not a call to fear death, but a call to urgency, the urgency to focus on what truly matters. If we do not guard our time, the world will claim it for us. The ability to say no to distractions, to unnecessary obligations, to meaningless urgency, is the ability to reclaim your life. Consider this. If you continue living as you are now, will you look back in a year and be proud? Or will you see only a collection of busy days with little meaning? Make 2025 the year you break free. Set boundaries, turn off distractions, prioritize what is truly important, and in doing so, regain control over your time, your energy, and your life. In a world obsessed with validation, we often measure our worth by applause. We seek likes, praise, acknowledgement. We want to be seen as successful, as important, as valuable. But the truth is, external recognition is fleeting. It can be given and it can be taken away. If our motivation is rooted in the approval of others, what happens when that approval disappears? True fulfillment does not come from being seen. It comes from knowing we acted in alignment with our values. Take the story of Katherine Johnson, the NASA mathematician who played a crucial role in space exploration. Her calculations helped send astronauts to the moon, yet for decades her contributions were overlooked. Did she stop working? No, because her purpose was not recognition. It was the pursuit of excellence. Only years later did the world begin to recognize her brilliance, but by then she had already built a legacy. Stoic philosophy teaches that we should not act for applause, but for virtue. Seneca reminds us, a good character once established is not anxious for external approval. So ask yourself, do I do things for their true value or for how they will be perceived? When you free yourself from the need for recognition, you unlock a new level of fulfillment. You act not for validation, but because it aligns with who you are, and in the end, that is the greatest achievement of all. Imagine stepping into a space filled with noise, voices overlapping, distractions pulling at your attention, a sense of heaviness pressing down on you. Every object, every sound, every detail in this environment seems to drain your energy, making it impossible to think clearly. Now imagine stepping into a space of calm, an uncluttered room, a desk organized with intention, a space that feels aligned with who you truly are. The difference is undeniable. The environment we surround ourselves with shapes our thoughts, emotions, and actions far more than we realize. Just as a cluttered room can create a cluttered mind, a toxic social environment can fill our lives with negativity, draining our potential before we even have the chance to rise. Stoic philosophy teaches us that while we cannot always control the world around us, we can control the spaces we choose to exist in. Epictetus reminds us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control, and what is more within our control than the environment we curate for ourselves. Look at Simone Biles, one of the greatest athletes in history. When the world expected her to push through overwhelming pressure in the 2021 Olympics, she made the radical decision to step back. She recognized that the environment she was in, the relentless expectations, the unyielding pressure, was no longer aligned with her well-being. She chose peace over performance, strength over spectacle, and in doing so, she redefined what true greatness looks like. Your environment extends beyond physical space. It includes the people you surround yourself with, the conversations you engage in, the content you consume. Do the people in your life uplift you or drain you? Do your habits reinforce growth or stagnation? Ask yourself, does my environment reflect my best self? Or does it keep me trapped in a version of me I have outgrown? In 2025, be intentional. Create a space, both physically and mentally, that nurtures growth, clarity, and peace. Let go of relationships that weigh you down, of habits that do not serve you, of spaces that stifle your spirit. Your external world is a mirror of your inner world. Curate it wisely. So many people chase after grand achievements, dreaming of massive success, picturing a future where they have transformed completely. But in this obsession with the destination, they overlook the simple truth. True transformation does not happen in sudden leaps. It happens in the small daily choices we make. Stoicism reminds us that discipline is not a single grand act. It is a way of being. It is not found in dramatic gestures, but in quiet consistency. We become what we repeatedly do, Aristotle famously said. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Think of someone who wants to learn the piano. At first they are filled with enthusiasm, dedicating hours to practice. But after a few weeks, frustration sets in. Their progress is slow, their fingers fumble, and the excitement fades. Many give up, convinced they lack talent. But the ones who succeed, they are the ones who commit to practicing just 15 minutes a day, no matter how they feel. Over time, those small efforts compound, leading to mastery. Consider James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. When he first started writing, he didn't aim for instant success. He committed to a simple habit, writing one blog post per week. He stayed consistent, even when progress was invisible. Years later, his small discipline turned into a best-selling book that impacted millions. This is the secret. Progress is not built in bursts of effort, but in daily discipline. The problem with chasing grand achievements is that they can feel overwhelming, so much so that many never even start. But if you break it down into daily steps, success becomes inevitable. Ask yourself, am I waiting for a breakthrough, or am I committing to small daily actions? In 2025, release the obsession with massive results. Focus instead on the process. Commit to small daily disciplines. Over time, they will shape you into the person you are meant to become. Escaping the trap of procrastination. We often tell ourselves that we will act when the timing is right, when we have more time, when we feel ready, when life is less chaotic. But deep down, we know the truth. The perfect time does not exist. Waiting is a comfortable excuse, a subtle trap disguised as patience. Stoicism teaches that action, not waiting, is the key to shaping our destiny. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This is not meant to inspire fear, but urgency. Life does not wait for us to be ready. The moment to act is now. Take Steve, a young entrepreneur who dreamed of launching a business. For years, he convinced himself he needed more knowledge, more skills, more preparation. He planned, he researched, he waited. And then, an unexpected economic downturn changed everything. His market shifted, and his idea lost relevance. If he had started earlier, even imperfectly, he could have adapted. But because he waited, the opportunity slipped away. Procrastination is a thief of potential. It tricks us into believing we are making progress when in reality we are standing still. The solution? Start before you feel ready. Take one small step. If you want to write a book, write a single page. If you want to get in shape, go for a 5-minute walk. If you want to start a business, test one small idea. Ask yourself, what have I been putting off, waiting for the perfect moment? What small step can I take today? In 2025, refuse to let procrastination steal another year of your life. The path to success is built step by step, not all at once. Begin now. The art of letting go. At the heart of all transformation lies a single truth. You must let go. Let go of fear. Let go of doubt. Let go of who you once were, so you can step into who you are meant to become. Throughout this journey, we have explored the habits that hold us back: comfort, judgment, procrastination, mediocrity, and the illusion of certainty. Each of these habits is a weight, an anchor that keeps us tethered to the past. But the moment we decide to release them, we step into freedom. The Stoics teach us that life is not about controlling everything around us. It is about mastering what is within us. The external world will always be unpredictable. Challenges will come. Uncertainty will remain. But when we cultivate resilience, discipline, and clarity, we become unshakable. So as you step into 2025, ask yourself, what am I ready to release? What no longer serves me? And most importantly, who am I ready to become? The journey does not end here. It is only beginning. The choice is yours. Will you carry the weight of the past, or will you walk forward, lighter, freer, and ready to embrace the future? Declare it now. In 2025, I embrace my best self. Let this be the year you transform.